Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter and welcome to my weekly episode. This is episode number 316 for July the 8th, 2025, and only in a few sleeps we have Stephen's birthday bash pop-up sew day on July the 12th. That's Saturday, this coming Saturday, July the 12th, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and it is a Zoom. And there's a link for it in the show notes below. And don't get that link mixed up with the Sewing with Stephen link. Look at the first line in those. That will tell you exactly which one you're connecting to. I know sometimes people get that mixed up. Okay, so what have I been working on? Well, I know you saw this creation yesterday. I gave you a sneak peek. It is the top, the quilt for my sister Lori. And yeah, it comes out to about 78 inches, 77 inches square. So I do have to put a border on it, a bigger border all the way around to get it to the size for her. But now I'm debating whether or not I want to make it rectangular or keep it as a square. So I got my fabric. Last week I mentioned I didn't have enough fabric to do the border, so I went online and I went to the same place where I got this fabric. Great little company called, what's it called? I always forget its name. It's got a weird name. I'm looking around the corner because I've got a business card for it. Oh yeah, there it is. It's called Spack Craft Fabric. And I think I did review it a few weeks ago as well. But it's in a place called Hamilton, which is, for those of you not from Ontario or Canada, Hamilton is just west of Toronto. And I've been very happy with their service. And I did have a 10% off coupon. That helped. And on this order, which came yesterday, because I ordered more than just fabric for this border, I ordered more of this Old Canada line, Old Canada 13. I love it. I love the colors in it. It's got sort of a fall color to it. And originally, as you know, when I designed this quilt, I designed this as a quilt of valor. But then my sister saw it and she said that she liked that design, so I went with it. But anyways, I bought more of this fabric so I can make a quilt of valor as well down the road. But in the meantime, I'm thinking, okay, should I make this rectangular? Now, to do that rectangular, I'm going to have to put some sort of a border on the top and the bottom. In other words, add a piece, a little wider piece, and then put the outside borders onto it as well. Or I could just do a top. It already has two borders on it, right? So I could do a top and a bottom wider border and leave it at that. And that might work. Because I think width-wise, it's okay at about 77 inches. I think she gave me a measurement of about 58. It all depends on her mattress. Or if I want to be on the safe side, I would add a little wider top border, a little wider bottom border, and then a little slightly narrower side borders. So that would make it into a rectangle. I don't know. I'm also thinking I might do sort of a full faux flange look before I put, whether I put a border all the way around or at the top or the bottom or whatever, a little faux flange in one of the lighter colors, just to give it a little bit more like style to it. I don't know, but that's what I have to figure out today. I'm going to have to play around with it and see what I like. I would have liked to have done it in electric quilt, but electric quilt, for some reason, I cannot figure out how to move existing blocks to new spaces. In electric quilt, this is all done up in electric quilt, okay, this design. And since I want to add more borders to it, I want to increase the columns and the rows so I can accommodate that. Well, I can do that, but the problem is I need those all the way around. And of course, the quilt's up in the very top corner of whatever I extend. So the extra things I put on, just go to the right and to the bottom. Well, I read instructions on how to move blocks, and it doesn't work. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm not going to go in and painstakingly recreate each one of these squares. I mean, I could do it, but is it worth the time and the effort? So, yeah, that's not an option right now. I don't know how to do it. It's stupid. There are some stupid things about that program. It is not very user-friendly. So if you're thinking of investing in it, think about how much time you're going to spend trying to learn it and if it's worth the money, because it is expensive, that program. But anyways, I digress from this. So today I'll play around. I'll get the Eagle Eye of Walter, or as I would like to call it, the absolute supreme seal of approval on whatever I do. And if he's happy, then I'll be happy. And my sister will have to be happy that way or not. And I pretty much figure she would be. I haven't discussed all of this with her. I might. I don't know. I'll see. Why is it that every time I make something for my sister, it gives me a big pain in the neck? Like, yeah. That's why I don't do commission quilts for people. No, not going to do it that way. Okay, enough about that. Let's move on, shall we? So this is a table runner. Now, my good friend Russ of Quilt Meets World very soon is going to be doing a sew-along for this particular pattern. And if you've been on his vlog last week, he was talking all about it and told you where to get the pattern. The pattern is very inexpensive. It's about $2 American. It's a Vella Rose pattern. Pretty basic. I decided to do it in these colors, and you're probably going, but you said it was a Christmas table runner. Why is it in sort of mustardy yellow? Actually, the picture makes it look like it's a mustardy yellow. It's actually a more muted, deeper amberish yellow than that, goldy color. And there's, like, if you look at the pieces of fabric in it, they are Christmas. But they are sort of a, I don't know, vintage, for lack of a better word, kind of fabric look. I bought this about a year ago. I saw it and I thought it was something a little different. I don't think it, I'm not unhappy with this table runner, but I'm not thrilled with it, with the colors that I tried. I want to use those colors and I tried it, and there needs to be more of a contrast, I think. Also, yeah, these colors don't scream Christmas. But then on the other hand, it could make a nice fall to winter table runner if you're into, matching up your quilted items with the seasons, that kind of thing. I will put a back on it, and I'll put it on Lucy and quilt it and bind it and put it in my set of things that I might give away someday to people and I need a hostess gift or something like that. Excuse me. Like, I'm always talking about hostess gifts like as if people invite us out. We haven't been invited to anybody's place for dinner in years, literally. Like, it was definitely way before COVID, actually. Yeah, all my so-called friends that I used to have, that we used to get together, yeah, they've gone on to do other things. It happens. They're not retired. I'm retired. They're busy with their jobs. They're busy with their lives. They have no need for old men. It's not a country for old men, kind of a deal. But it sounds like I'm kind of complaining and moving on to a rant. I am not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. But anyways, we are going out for dinner, though, with our friends in Toronto in a week and a half's time, and that's great. They invited us, so that's nice. But they're old men, too. So there you go. Yeah, dinner at the nursing home. Okay, so moving on. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. This was an In the Hoop project by Sweet Pea. It's called the Beach Hut Bag. And yeah, Sweet Pea makes bags a little different. Yeah, sure, they're in the hoop. But when it comes to doing the linings and the boxing and the corners and things, they do them all very differently. Which kind of drives me mental. Now, the way they did this one, I'm not going to explain it to you because it would mean nothing unless, I did a tutorial or something. It isn't difficult. Their instructions are a little tricky to figure out. You have to read carefully and really think. That's something else I don't like, thinking. But I do like the little the patches that are on it of the beach huts and everything. And this is going to my friends in Toronto. You know that I've been making them some other little goodies. And all the little goodies are going to go in this bag. And I think it's appropriate for them because they do have a sailboat and a big one, a really big one. And, it's summertime, and I'm sure for lugging things back and forth onto the sailboat or whatever, this would be great. It's got that summer feel to it. Well, it's called Beach Hut. So, yeah. So I am very pleased how that turned out. Now, looking at it on here, it almost looks like the orangey, goldy, yellowy, whatever you call it, dot fabric. Almost looks like a suede, but it's not. It is just quilting cotton. And it is all lined. I'm sorry about the throat thing. Happens every morning. I had a little problem with the lining, and I realized now, like I made it just a touch too big. So I actually sewed a bit of a tuck-like seam into it to get to fit in, because I'd already sewn up the sides and everything. And yeah, if I had followed their instructions, it would have been a little better, because they have you basically cut out the lining fabric and using the front of the bag and the back of the bag as your template. And the back of the bag was not as big as the front of the bag. This is why I said this was a weird way of putting things together with it. And I didn't bother to do that. I cut both pieces the same size. Wasn't really thinking at the time. And of course, yeah, sure, I've got a nice lining, but it's a little too big for the bag. But it's in the bag now. Nobody's going to notice that. It's not that much bigger. Only I know. But, it just wouldn't be a bland bag if I didn't do some kind of little weird thing to it, right? And I was working on, or having the embroidery machine work away while I was working on the bag, doing a couple of freestanding lace angels. These are a couple I had not seen before on, where did I get these? I think they're Embroidery Library is where I picked these up. And these are also going to be included in that gift bag of items. It's going to be kind of like Christmas in July. That's what I'll tell them when we go. I know they're not expecting anything. And in fact, they're taking us out for dinner to thank us for some of the various things over the last few years that I have passed on to them, which is not necessary. I just like to make things and give them away. So, yeah. But anyways, it's going to be a very nice evening. And, yeah, they're going to go, oh, shit, we thought we were caught up. Now they give us more gifts. Well, I have to have somebody to give them to, don't I? Okay, so that's the things I have been working on. So let's talk about what's coming up. Sewing with Stephen, Wednesdays as usual. Now, we're going to miss one Wednesday because of that dinner that I told you about. This Wednesday is on, so at the time of recording this, I record this on a Tuesday. Tomorrow will be Sewing with Stephen, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern and going till 4 p.m. Eastern. All are welcome. It's a Zoom, so the link is in the show notes. Again, 2 links for Zooms in the show notes. One says Sewing with Stephen. Oops, well, party balloons. Let's have a party in the morning. Guess it was the fingers. Anyways, and there's one for the Stephen's birthday bash pop-up sew day on Saturday. So they're both different links. So get the right one for the right thing that you want to be at. Just another reminder, because it always happens. Somebody gets them mixed up, and I understand why. Okay, so tomorrow, Sewing with Stephen. Saturday, pop-up sew day. Moving on. So Chatty, in the last week, we did a thing about shipping companies scamming you, and that all was based upon a situation that happened with one of my subscribers who was so kind, and that's Julie, and many of you know Julie. She was so kind to send me a lovely little package from the Fat Quarter Shop, and I already explained that whole thing on So Chatty, so if you haven't seen So Chatty, do check it out. Because we talk about, the hidden fees that almost seem like scammers. In some cases, like if you're dealing with a company like UPS, that's UPS, not USPS. USPS is United States Postal Service. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the courier company called UPS, United Parcel Services, and I hate them. absolutely hate them. Anything coming across the border, they're going to collect the duties, whether there's any on them or not, and they're going to charge you a fee for collecting those duties, and they're going to charge you tax on top of those duties and on top of their brokerage fees. And so by the time you're done, you've paid, depending on how much you paid for the item you're shipping, you're going to pay almost as much. Yeah, I never deal with UPS. And if I see one of my quilt store companies online that do, unless it's something I really can't get anywhere else, I will not deal with them. I will not deal with that store because you can't trust UPS. Okay, so there, I said it. Anyways, as I said, Julie sent this package in. Well, it's all about that. But I wanted to show you what was in that package because it's absolutely lovely. It is Christmas. And she sent me this fat quarter bundle, 20 pieces in it, called Joyful Holidays. They're absolutely lovely. In fact, they're so lovely, I did not take the binding off it that was holding it all together because I don't want to separate up the pieces. So sorry about that. And then the big piece, I think, is batik, and it's beautiful as well. And I think she sent me enough of that I can use that as backing on whatever I make with these. So what I'm doing at the moment is this fabric is just, well, a couple of reasons it's special. It's special because Julie sent it to me, and that was so nice of her. And the second reason it's special is because they're beautiful. And so I want to make sure I make these into something that will show them off. So I am thinking a small lap quilt, probably more for decor at Christmas time, casually. Does anybody do that? Casually thrown over the edge of it, over top of a chair or on the couch or something like that. We don't do, when we're decorating, we're not going to be casual. We're supposed to make the look casual. So, you toss it. Yeah, I don't toss it. And I'm looking for a pattern that is fat quarter friendly, obviously. So I found a couple that aren't specifically for fat quarters, but I think they would work, that I kind of like. I might use those as a guide and sort of design my own version. I am thinking stars because when I think of Christmas, I think of stars, and I love stars. I love star patterns. So I may have to get into Electric Quilt and play around a little bit. See if I can download swatches for this particular line of fabric to put into Electric Quilt. That would make things even better. So that's a project that's on the near horizon as well. Yeah, again, ton of projects. I never seem to have enough time, and I don't know what that's all about. Okay, so that takes me to subscribers quilt of the week. And this one comes from, I want to make sure I say her name right, Marjan Kawartha. I'm sorry, Marjan. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. But anyways, here's her beautiful creation. This week's quilt from a subscriber comes from Marjan Gerart, which I'm not sure if I've said Marjan's last name correctly, and I'm sorry for that. But she sends us this latest creation of hers, which is, of course, you've seen it before, the Barn Star sampler. And she writes, my Barn Star top completed, about 90 by 90, used all the pieces except some of the very smallest ones. Your completion pushed mine. Thanks for the sew day yesterday. So Marjan, you've done a beautiful job on this quilt, and yes, I know your pain, and this was one that took me quite a while to make as well. I see that you did your own kind of layout for this, which is fine because that particular quilt pattern lends itself to doing that kind of thing. You've done a wonderful job, and I know how time consuming and tedious this particular quilt pattern can be. So congratulations on getting it finished. And after you get it quilted, you might want to send me a picture of what the finished product looks like. Thanks, Marjan. And I am getting low again on your quilts to show on here. So if you have a creation, doesn't have to be a quilt, can be anything that you have made, please send me one picture only, please, of it, and a little less than 50-word blurb about it. Sorry. And I'll be happy to feature it here on the Idiot Quilter. Okay, so that takes me to YouTube of the week, and this one is by someone you've heard me talk about many times before, the Opinionated Quilter. I just love her. She's no nonsense, matter of fact, and she tells you what you're doing wrong. And if there were ever any quilt police, she would be the chief of them. I can tell you that. But having said that, she does know a lot. I find her information very informative and very helpful. And although she's a little rough around the edges in the way that she presents it, nevertheless, it gets the job done. So this is another one of hers, and this is how to make a simple, inexpensive grocery bag. This week's YouTube video is called How to Make a Simple, Inexpensive Grocery Bag. And for those of you that have a serger, especially quilters, you probably don't use your serger a lot. So here's an opportunity for you to use your serger. Now, I've got a few things that I need to bag up, and I'm thinking I will try this method. It looks pretty fast and pretty simple, and the Opinionated Quilter has a whole very quick tutorial on how to make something like this, and it's, you know, you could make it with scrap fabrics or whatever. So I might give that a try later on as well, and just see what I can do. Maybe use some of my scrap fabrics, that kind of thing. This, of course, is an unlined bag, so you're going to see serged edges, but they're not going to be raw because you serged them. So if you're looking for something really quick, something you can use that is very practical, like a grocery bag, or for other things you might need a quick bag for, then you're going to want to check out the Opinionated Quilter's video on how to make a simple, inexpensive grocery bag. Now, this is the segment where I usually talk about future projects, and I show you a pattern that, you know, to date, I think I've shown you over 170 different patterns on here, and how many of them have I actually made? I don't know, but not a lot. But this is one I will make. Actually, no, I have made, and you've already seen it. And it's the Beach Hut Tote Bag by Sweet Pea. And so it just happened that I got that bag done after I recorded this. So here you go. Here are my thoughts about the Beach Hut Tote Bag by Sweet Pea. This week's future project, which is one I want to get on to before the summer is out, is called Beach Hut Tote Bag, and this is by Sweet Pea Designs. And right now, it's on sale for 50% off, so I picked it up. Another tote bag. Do I need another tote bag? No, but I love the little panels that are in this, and I think this is a very versatile pattern because, yes, you can make it into a tote bag, but you could also make this into a wall hanging. You could even go as far as to make it into a quilt. So there's lots of possibilities here, and when it's on for half price, I don't think you can really go wrong. It's very colorful. You could use scrap fabrics for this, I'm sure, so use up your scraps as well. Yeah, there's lots to be said about this particular pattern in its versatility and in its value. So that's the Beach Hut Tote Bag by Sweet Pea Designs. So that takes me to what's twisting my seams, and this comes from one of my subscribers. Lily Foss sent in this picture, an explanation of Lori Holt fabric, and it doesn't really twist her seams. She loves Lori Holt fabric, but it's the way she organizes her fabric that I thought was really interesting. This week, for What's Twisting My Seams, we have a whole collection of fabrics, which is not so much that this particular person, who's Lily Foss, but she says she loves this. This is Lori Holt Fabrics. And she says, I'm sending you a couple of pictures of my favorite fabric. My favorite fabric is Lori Holt fabric. I store my fabric in clear boxes so I can see them all the time. This also makes it easy for me to pick different colors when working with this fabric. All the different colors just make me feel happy. I pick from these bins regularly when making a new quilt. Of course, I also have other fabrics, but I keep coming back to these colorful bins. So this is a little bit of a twist on twisted seams, because instead of picking something that you have forgotten about, Lily picked something that she sees all the time and she uses all the time. And yes, they are beautiful fabrics, the Lori Holt. Not in my wheelhouse really, although I do have an appreciation for them. So great idea keeping them in plastic boxes all together, so it's really easy for you to pick out something that you want to use when you need it. So thank you, Lily, for sending me this picture for what's twisting my seams. So as usual, it's been a busy week of piling up projects. That's what I seem to do. I get started on one project and squirrel, I get on to another project. But here's what in the last week I have been working on. So what am I working on this week? Well, let's start over here at what I call the project table, which you can see has a lot of projects. These are fabrics set aside for another Quilt of Valor project. I did start working on this. It's a little early for Halloween, but can you ever be that early? And there's one of the pieces there. This is going to take a while. It's a table topper. I have an advanced Christmas project that I set aside last year, and it is gnomes. And yeah, I have the pieces sort of cut, and I've had them cut for a long time. But I put it out here because before it was on a shelf, out of sight, out of mind. Don't know what I was going to do with it. I've got another Sweet Pea bag project here that I want to do, Beach Hut, soon. And there's miscellaneous projects in there as well as these applique across Canada that I dug out of my stash of things. And yeah, I want to do these too. Here's one that I did a long time ago, the first one. And it's just stuck down. It's not sewn. So I need to do that someday. That might be a palette cleanser kind of project. On the wall, I have got the beginnings of my sister's quilt. I've cut all the pieces. I've made all the half square triangles. Now I'm just putting the rows together, going together pretty quick. I'm debating whether I'm going to write this one up as a pattern. It's pretty simple. It's just half square triangles and squares, but we'll see about that. That may be a project in the future. And I have all her stuff organized here into this plastic bin, and you can see more pieces out. Got to get back to work on that. Out in the Lucy room, I've got a couple of quilts, a Quilt of Valor one especially that I need to get quilted. And I always hesitate because I never know what mood Lucy is going to be in and what mood I'll be in by the time I'm done with it. Moving on to the 3D printers, as you know, I picked up another Bamboo X1 Carbon, and it's right over here working away. I just finished setting up my AMS riser on here and the new AMS 2 Pro box. This is their latest version of this, and so far I'm loving it. And I installed anti-vibration feet down here because these came with as a special freebie. And so I'm trying them out. I have them on that one. They're easy to install. This one I'm using a yoga mat. I bought it at the dollar store that I've cut into 2 pieces. And that seems to be working fine for this one over here. And I think I'll just leave this. And maybe over time I will change to the anti-vibration feet. In here, you can see these little blue boxes. These are filled with that moisture stuff, desiccant. And I got a hydrometer. This was also a freebie that came with the kit. And I just got this going half an hour ago, and it was at 58% humidity. It's dropping to 47% humidity. You want to keep your filament dry. That's not really a problem for me in this environment we're in because it's not always that humid, but I'm giving it a shot to see how these work out. And if they're working out okay in here, I'll make another set and maybe order these little hydrometer things. These are really cheap on Bamboo's site. And I'm debating whether I should order some more filament. I'm really loving their dual colored filament. So yeah, I might just do that maybe after I'm finished recording this. So those are various things I've been working on. Always busy. And sometimes I get a little overwhelmed with what I have to do, but, keeps me off the streets. And that takes me to online quilt stores, and this one is called Pins and Needles. This week's online quilt store is called Pins and Needles, and it is located in a little place called Listowel, uh, Ontario. And here's their front page. As you can see, a picture of their store front. And let's jump right into Shop Now and see what we have. Here we go. So let's see. I'm just trying to figure out the navigation here. We've got some featured fabrics, it looks like, and some threads and things too. So let's go up here. It says default sorting. Sort by popularity, latest. Okay. Is there another way? Okay, categories, fabric. Okay, fabric. Let's go for cotton. Okay, it's either taking a while to load or there's just, yeah, I think it's a slow website. So just beware of that. Be patient with it. Okay, let's take a look at what they're charging. It looks like they have prices in various ranges. Pictures are taking a long time to come up. Here we go. Okay, let's take a look at this first one. This is 1510. I'm imagining that's per meter. Yes, priced is per meter. Okay, so that's pretty good, but that's more of a novelty fabric. Let's see if we can find, these are all novelty fabrics. Let's see if we can find, yeah, this interface I'm not impressed by for looking for things. Let's just sort by popularity and see what we get. Okay, very slow server, which is very annoying. Here's the prices though: $10.50, $12.50, $18.99 a meter. So they fluctuate. The most expensive looks like about $18.99. But looks like they have a lot of novelty fabrics. How many fabrics do they have? Do they list? They don't tell you that. Okay, this is very annoying. At the speed, I have an extremely fast internet connection, so it's not my system. It has to do with the server they're going through, I think, which, for me, I don't want to sit here all day waiting for images to pop up, especially when all I can do is go from one page to another page. I don't seem to be able to do, yeah, everything seems to be novelty fabrics. What's under other? That's not much better. Some zippers and things. Yeah, I'm not impressed by this whatsoever. Website hosted and designed by Horizon Quest. I think they might want to change who they're dealing with here because this is not really impressing me. Now remember, I always judge my evaluation upon what I see in front of me on a web page. It has nothing to do with the store itself. They do have a brick and mortar store. It might be worth popping into that if you're in their area, because I think you would get a better sense of what they're all about if you were in the actual store. But I can only judge by what's here on their website. So okay, and then some fabric they have is half meter. So read the description carefully. Yeah, this is, what's up here? Anything different? No, there's the shop. Okay. Let's go back down here to the bottom of the page, cotton. Is there any way I can fast forward this to see if there's more than just novelty fabrics? This is very annoying. Oh, that's the end. So basically, all they have is novelty fabrics. By the looks of things, if they have something else, that's not showing up on their website. Out of curiosity, let's see what it says for polyester. Well, I don't know. Okay. They have twill. Load more. Swiss dot. Okay, this is under polyester, seafoam. Okay, I am completely confused and really not liking the selection they have online. We looked at other, let's take a look at quilts. Okay. I'm not sure. It looks like there's some panels here. Yes. And then they have actual quilts that have been made. It's really quite jumbled and mixed up. Okay, sewing supplies. Snaps, pins, they have a serger, couple of sergers, they've got bias tape, buttons, replacement blades for rotary cutters, marking pins, floss. They sell a brand of sewing machine. I'm not sure who makes Emerald. Few tools. Really, this is a very mixed bag of items and brands. Yeah, some feet for Husqvarna, so I guess they deal with Husqvarna. Yeah, okay, another one of these where you basically going on a treasure hunt. And it looks like they sell Singer sewing machines. Well, do they sell machines? They sell feet. Oh, here's something. Here's this Singer sewing machines. Again, we have feet. Not sure what this is. There's nothing there. Okay, well, let's look under activities. Learn how to hand quilt. Time to be announced, $30. Okay, you don't know when they're having that. And that's about it. I guess it may depend on how many people sign up for it. Yeah, okay. Just out of sake, look at contact. Okay, you can send them an email. There are their hours. Let's go back. Let's go to the bottom of the page again. Is there anything we've missed here? They do have scissors. One pair. Good to know. Okay. I think you can probably hear it in my voice that I am not impressed by this website. I'm not impressed with their selection online. I'm not impressed with the organization. I'm sorry. I can't recommend this particular website. Their store may be a different thing altogether. So if you're in Listowel, Ontario, you might want to check out their store. But otherwise, I don't think I think this needs some work. And if these are pictures of inside their store, it looks like they have lots of bolts of fabric. So that's, if you want to buy something from them, go to their store. So that's Pins and Needles. And I'm going to give it an overall rating of about a 4 out of 10. So that brings me to the end of this episode of the Idiot Quilter. And I do hope I'll see many of you on the 2 sewing days I'm having this week, on the Sewing with Stephen on Wednesday and the pop-up sew day, the Stephen's Birthday Bash pop-up sew day this coming Saturday, July the 12th. All that information is in the show notes. And there are prizes for the Birthday Bash, because what's a birthday without prizes? Prizes and presents. So I'm giving you prezzies as well. Well, some of you. Sorry, I can't give everybody something, but you know, it's a draw. It's fun. So I hope to see many of you this coming Saturday to celebrate my birthday with me. By the way, it's actually not my birthday that day. My birthday is the Monday coming up. But anyways, it doesn't matter. It's my birthday weekend. I know people who call it their birthday months. So go figure. But anyways, I hope to see many of you then as well. So have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.